Hello and welcome to my review of the Ka-Bar Zombie Warsword. This is an updated 4K video of this fixed blade. I have previously reviewed this, but that was a whopping 7 years ago. So if you're interested to see the improvements between a video that I shot 7 years ago and today, I'll leave the link to my original video in the comments below. Now this blade will set you back between 61 and 122 pounds. I think that's what I said in the original review. I've looked just now, you can't get it off Henny Haynes, which is where I originally bought it from. They do sell other Ka-Bar knives if you're interested in those, but you can pick it up in America for about $60 or so. I'm not sure whether it includes all of these other things that I've got with it. You've got this sheath here. Quite a nice sheath. You've got a number of loops there, 6 loops, and yeah, it's quite well made, I think. You've got some loops there as well. You've got some velcro here, so you can just velcro anything on there. It did come with a zombie velcro sticker thing. I don't know where that's gone to. You've got a little drawstring here for this. I don't know what you could put in there. Another knife. Oh, I've got some loop there. The cord is 7.5 feet. Maybe you could loop this around something to extend the reach, for instance, if you wanted to. But yeah, you can put whatever in there. Nice that you've got an extra like little pouch. And then it also comes with like a backup blade. I'm not a huge fan of this one. This blade is called the Acheron skeleton knife. It is made in China. It's still pretty sharp though after quite a while. You can't put your fingers in there at all and use it as a, to protect your fingers or whatever, but it does reduce the weight having those big cutouts rather than it just being one chunk of steel. Not a huge grip, 3-finger grip with some jimping on the thumb rest there. Got a little bit of a choil, but no jimping there. And it's got a nice finger guard, but yeah, I suppose like as a little backup blade, I wish the end of the handle was just an extra finger longer. That would have made it a lot more useful. Your little fingers kind of dangling in the wind there, so you can't get that much purchase, I guess, unless you really sort of choke up, but then you're pushing your luck by running your finger on there. But yeah, it's all right. It does the job. And then the sheath itself, I think you can put it in either this way, or maybe even that way. Yeah, so you can put it in either way, that's fine. It doesn't lock in, which sucks. It moves about quite freely. However, it is held together with both of these straps. They're both stitched on, and this one just has a bit of Velcro there. I'm not quite sure, maybe it's to alert zombies to your presence, who knows, but still, yeah, you've got a bit of Velcro there. Maybe it's to keep the clasps completely open. I guess that would work, maybe, as an explanation. But yeah, and then you've got the blade itself. This is a nice size blade and features 2 green and 2 black GFN PA66 handle scales. So you do get 2 scales here. I'm not quite sure where my 2 other scales are, but yeah, if you don't want the green, you can go with just the all black. The scales are quite nice, they're textured. There's nice jimping there on the thumb ramp, give you a bit of purchase. The handle is great, it's a great size. You could technically, if you've got, my hands are like medium to large, but if you've got smaller hands, you could fit 2 fingers in. Calm down. You can easily fit 2 fingers in, but lower down you can fit the 3 fingers in towards the back of the handle, and that's the preferred grip I would go for. It's nice that you've got this little extra bit here, either for egress or whatever. It just holds your hand back, stops your hand from completely slipping off of the handle. I'm not sure if the back end is skeletonized. That would be interesting. I haven't actually taken these scales off yet. It doesn't mention it as a feature. It says Ka-Bar Olean NY, and you've got like a little biohazard type symbol thing with a K on it, and then you've got the American flag, and you've got 5701. Maybe that's the number of it, I'm not sure. I don't think that's anything to do with the blade, but it's still pretty sharp. The overall length of the knife is 15.1 inches, which is 38.5 centimeters, and the blade length is 9.5 inches. I think that's a nice sweet spot there. It's not quite 10 inches and unwieldy, but it's also not subpar 9 inches. The cutting edge length is 9 inches. The weight is 14.3 ounces or 406 grams. It's a bit weighty. The weight including the sheath is 25.7 ounces or 730 grams. So it's an extra 300 grams for the sheath with the little knife as well. The length of the sheath is 18.5 inches or 46.9 centimeters. And the blade steel is the 1095 Cro-Van, which is 52 to 54 on the hardness scale. As I say, it's still pretty sharp now. It's not the hardest steel, but it'll definitely keep its edge for a while. I've had no issues with it. So, size comparisons then. I can't find my SOG Seal Pup anywhere, so I do apologise because that would have been a good size comparison. I want to just do a couple of size comparisons with other fixed blades, but I do have a SOG Jungle Primitive, which, you know, is a very, very cheap knife. The blade steel isn't the best. It is quite intimidating looking, and it is quite large, and it does have a serrated part, but that's probably the closest sized knife that I have to the War Sword. Yeah, they're very, very similar. Jungle Primitive is it's lighter, but there's just the handle is just not as good, and you know, it's nice that these handle scales are interchangeable and you can just swap them about. I'm not sure if Ka-Bar still make the handle scales, but yeah, I've got the black ones somewhere. It's weighted nicer. The Jungle Primitive is very, very top sort of heavy, as you kind of expect. But yeah, that's sort of size-wise where it measures up with a Jungle Primitive. If you're into your bushcrafting and things, you'll probably be aware of a Mora knife or a Mora Niv. I call it a Mora knife anyway. These Swedish-made bushcrafting blades, really, really nice. This is the one with carbon steel. I thought that it would have corroded or rusted by now, but it's held up very, very well, and this is easily over 7 years, so if you get any kind of Mora knife, even a sort of satin finish or whatever, I'm sure it will do you well. They're relatively fairly priced as well, and the handles are good, so that's where it stands up next to one of those if you've had one of those before. And then I would just want to show you a comparison with one of my favourite fixed blade knives, the Spyderco Shemp-Rock. Absolutely love this. It's useful for a number of tasks, but that's where it sort of measures up next to the Shemp-Rock. As you can see, it's yeah, got a bit more length to the Shemp-Rock, but I just obviously prefer the feel, and the VG10 from Seki City is just fantastic. Okay, so folding knives. I've got a folding locking knife on me, which is the Cold Steel Spartan. Quite a chunky blade, really large handle. I love the handle, really keeps you in lock solid, and very, very secure arc lock, I think it is. I think that's what they call it. And a nice ambidextrous sort of thumb stud as well. So that's where it measures up with the Spartan. Handle wise is similar sort of length, but blade, yeah, again got some length on it. Next to a Delica, which you'd probably be familiar with, and it actually works quite well, I think. This would be a really, really good backup blade. Swap out this. I wouldn't say that a mediocre or poor quality fixed blade, small fixed blade, is better than a higher quality blade steel with a good lock. For a backup blade. I mean, you're going to be putting the fixed blade through more strenuous work and activity than your backup blade anyway, and this would really be for fine work, so you might as well get quite a decent little fine blade for your smaller work. And then a couple more comparisons. The UK PK, everybody knows size of a UK PK, I would imagine, but most of my viewers are American. So this is the UK PK, and then this is the Spyderco Urb, which is my daily carry. Just gives you an idea of the size of this. It's not the biggest knife around there, you know, at sort of 9 inches. So there you are. That is the end of my review. I think it's a decent knife. I've had it for 7 years and haven't really had any issues at all. In my opinion, I think it's one of the more acceptable sort of zombie knives that they do, especially as you can swap out these bright green scales with the black ones, which would change the overall look. What do you guys think? Please do put your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.